Man, who doesn't love some delicious melt-in-your-mouth pulled pork? It's one of my favorite things in barbecue, whether it's on a sandwich or just by itself. Hey everyone, welcome to The Savoring. I'm Jimmy, and in this video I'm making some juicy, tender, and delicious pulled pork. When I first started trying my hand at low and slow barbecue, pulled pork was the very first thing that I ever made. I think it's a good starting point for someone who's never smoked anything before because you almost can't mess it up. So here I'm starting with an about 11-pound pork butt, which doesn't actually come from the pig's butt, it's actually a shoulder roast. So after unwrapping it and patting it dry, I like to score the fat cap side in about a 1-inch grid pattern, about a 1/2 inch deep. This way, as the fat renders, it doesn't shrink and deform the meat, and also it creates little channels for all the seasoning and juices to go into. It ends up looking really good too, so there's some visual appeal to doing it this way also. Next thing I do is absolutely cover the roast in my favorite barbecue rub. Don't be afraid of putting too much on here. This is a huge piece of meat. I don't use a binder for my seasoning. I just put it on there and let the salt from the rub sweat out some of the meat's moisture. This allows the seasonings to stick without a binder. I'm just going to get all the sides of this thing nice and coated with the rub. Now that it's all seasoned up and looking quite nice, I'm going to cover it up, put it in the fridge, and get my smoker ready. To smoke this pork, I'm using my Traeger pellet grill set to 225 degrees for the first part of the cook. So I just flip the butt over and put it on the grill fat cap side up. So I'm just going to close it up and leave it alone for about 2 to 3 hours. Here we are about 3 hours in, and as you can see, I'm starting to get a nice mahogany color and the fat is starting to render nicely. It's creating that beautiful grid pattern on top. I'm going to go ahead and spritz it with some apple juice just to make sure it stays nice and moist. At about the 6-hour mark here, it's looking about the same and sitting at about 144 degrees internal temperature. It's not quite ready to wrap yet. I'm going to let it hit somewhere close to 170 before I'm ready to wrap it. So here I am after 12 hours in. That's what it took to get up to about 167 internal temp. So it's time to get it off the grill and get it inside and get it wrapped for the second part of the cook. So I'm going to use a foil pan to wrap the pork in so I don't lose any of the juices that this thing is going to produce during the wrapped phase. On the bottom of the pan, I'm going to put a layer of brown sugar, margarine, barbecue rub, and some apple juice. This is just going to make a nice sweet and savory glaze on the outside of the pork. Then I just repeat the same thing on top of the butt. Let that brown sugar and seasoning get all up inside those valleys. Then I just wrap the top tightly with some foil. For this part of the cook, I bump the grill up to 250 degrees, put the pork butt back on, and insert my temp probe right through the foil. It only took about 5 hours and I've hit an internal temperature of 203 degrees and the pork is done. Next step is to rest it down to about 160 degrees before I shred it apart. Look at that reveal. Man, the color is just amazing. Those little cubes of pork fat on top will be so delicious, and they just look great. Now I just got to transfer it into this tub to shred it, and this thing is just absolutely falling apart, so I'm just going to have to take it over in pieces. And the bone just pulls right out. That's what you want to see right there. So now it's time to shred this bad boy up. Now, in my opinion, properly cooked pulled pork shouldn't need any of those claw-looking tools to shred it up. It should just fall apart in your hands. Now, all those juices in the bottom of that pan, I'm just going to pour them right on top of all that shredded up pork. So delicious. That's all the flavor right there. Ooh, man, and there we have it, the most delicious melt-in-your-mouth pulled pork. If you guys enjoyed the video or learned anything at all, please be sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more delicious cooks. See you guys on the next video.